Where the legends play. Willie 1550 and 98.7. Hello there, I'm Kenny Graves. And as promised, I'm very pleased to have in the studio right now a speaker, presenter, I call her a fashionista, and a national and international award-winning children's author and new resident of Grimes County. Got to throw that in there. Shanalee Sharbaneau. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
Wow, Kenny, thank you. You just made my whole week.
Oh, good. I'm glad I did for somebody. That makes me feel a little bit better. We met by happenstance. I kind of mentioned this earlier at the Iola cook-off at the Volunteer Fire Department last weekend. And yes, I called the shot. You were sitting there, we were chit-chatting, and I said, you really sound like a children's author. And you had not said anything at all about your career.
Stunning.
Yeah.
It was absolute. That's the first time, especially since I actually, long decades ago, I got my degree in statistics. So people don't necessarily come out with that. And I don't know if I blinked when you said it or said anything, because it was great instincts on your part.
You looked at me like you a little bit of shock, but I've been fortunate. I've actually a few children's authors in my years here. So yeah. I don't know what vibe, but whatever it was, it worked.
Well, thank you for that. That was awesome.
But a very interesting lady, as I mentioned in the intro, more than just an author. You've got a lot going on, so I'm ready to dive in with you. And if we have time at the end, maybe some fun questions, because you're a fun-loving person.
I love fun.
And welcome to Grimes County, by the way.
Oh, man, I got to say this. Y'all are awesome.
I'll concur with that.
Y'all are awesome out there. And our family feels so blessed to be here, so blessed to be welcomed here. And we should have been here earlier, but we got here as soon as we could.
That's the right way to say it, too. Yes, ma'am. And you guys are living in Iola?
We have a ranch out in Iola. We do have a residence in College Station.
Gig'em.
My son, he's 12. He goes to Allen Academy, one of the best schools, I think, in the state of Texas,
yes,
if not further.
Yes.
And he's not a morning person, and I'm not a morning person. So we knew. So we go between the both residents. Love Iola. Love being here.
Love to have you. So we'll get into this. First things first. So you won second place in the Texas International Fishing Tournament in South Padre some time back. Talk about that experience.
Wow, I didn't expect that one coming up, but yes. So it's funny. I met my husband. He was an international hunting guide, very outdoorsy guy. To me, as my father put it, camping was not having room service for me. So I'm
roughing it.
Roughing it. What do you mean you don't have room service? Where's the bar? So we, in order to keep him, I think I thought, well, I'm going to have to get outdoorsy. And my son, his name is Braden. He's better known as Braden Outdoors. Fantastic outdoors kid. And I thought, well, I'm not going to sit in the condo that many times. I'm going to go out. And sure enough, all of a sudden, I started listening to the guide, Rudy Boo Boo, and we started getting trout. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe we won. And it was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, you look very proud in the picture.
Yes, I am. I am, because I think, as a woman who tries to do multiple things, even when it's uncomfortable, it's great to have those moments in life and say you did it. It's an awesome moment.
Well, I applaud that. That's really good.
Thank you.
And you're a Texas girl, correct?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in this beautiful place called Round Rock, Texas.
Oh, Round Rock. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
But it's a little bit of a challenge now. But it was great back then. I have good memories of Willie. Saw him all the time. He's a great man, just a great man. And
he's an icon at this point.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's looked the same age since I was 8 years old.
He does. Yes. So I can say that.
Nowadays, he looks young for his age.
Right. Well, when you look the same, because let's see, in the 80s is when I met him finally face to face. He looks the same. Same guy.
Exactly. Music's still awesome, too.
Yes.
Well, a lot of your artistic influence came from your Irish immigrant grandparents, So tell us a little about how they helped shape your career.
Having grandparents that had a strong cultural basis was a lot of fun for me. They spoke of very mysterious stories. The Banshee, my grandmother told this story about finding out how her uncle had passed by hearing the Banshee at night. So, the Irish are full of those stories. There's a reason why you kiss a stone. You want to be able to entertain people and entertain yourself. And so that's how my childhood was listening to those stories of, leprechauns and things disappearing. And so I believe that was very positive for myself, because as a child, that created an imagination, right? So, yeah, they were awesome. They were very strong people, too.
Well, what were your plans for your career when you were back in high school? What were you thinking you were going to be when you grew up?
Oh, my Lord. Oh, man, let me tell you, the best story, and I tell this when I speak to kids. My English teacher in sophomore, so I was very good in math, and in sophomore, Mrs. Eckfall, and you can imagine this old lady, skirt up to here, breast down to there. And she told me, she said, Shanalee, you are so bad in English, you better not do anything in your career that involves English.
Little did she know.
Little did I know. This book was a fluke, and it wasn't planned. And I love God when he works that way, because I love him always. But when he works mysteriously like that, there's clues along the way. And that was a clue for me.
An aha moment.
That was an aha moment.
Well, then tell us the story of how and when being an author got started for you.
So I did the great thing, corporate job, vice president in physician services. I tell people all the time, I could manage 35 people, but the minute my son was born, it was over. I couldn't manage anything. And it's been chaos since then, great chaos. And when he was born, he had severe reflux, and we almost lost him twice. And it was very serious. And we could not put him down, else he would drown. And what ended up happening is severe reflux is when the diaphragm is not formed, so anything that goes up anything that goes down, must come up. And that would drown him. So we stayed awake for 6 months. And in my craziness, I started singing this song, humming this song, to beg him to stay alive. Wrote it down, thinking it would be so cool that he could say those words to his children. Publisher found it, and now children all over the world hear it.
That is amazing. So talk about that first book series, My Mama Loves Me, I'm Her Little Boy.
Yes. So the song went into the book, and I don't even want to sing it, because God knows you all have some great music here, but some of the words are like, my mama loves me, my mama sings to me, my mama makes my dreams come true. And part of all that verbiage was promising him that if he stayed alive, if he fought, that I would take him to many places in the world and show him the world for fighting. And we've been very blessed. He's totally fine now, but we've taken him to Africa, we've taken him to Italy, and he's just a great travel kid. And that's all that was. That's all the book was that.
Excellent. Well, that series garnered 5 medals, including national and international awards. So how was it to receive that recognition and validation for your work?
I didn't talk about this much, and now I do, but when I was in the room, I felt like I was listening to a radio, and I felt like an angel was in the room fighting with me. And when those awards start hitting, I told myself, this is not me. This can't be me. Because I'm a mathematician, for the love of God. How could I be winning this? So it was affirmation that something did very special occur when my son was fighting, and to put it out in the world. And it started one medal after another. That
is amazing. Well, Shanalee, your recent works have focused on the grandparent side, which for me, as being a very proud pawpaw of 8 now, talk about that series.
So what happened was the book started with my mom. My mama loves me. I'm her little boy. And I thought, one and done. I would be able to show it to people. In this grade, I did it. No big deal. Nothing was going to happen. Well, it went from one parent to another with one child after another. So now when I hit book 3, I had a grandmother walk in to a book signing and said, you will be doing the grandparent series. Because, grandmas don't take no for an answer.
Of course not.
No, sir. So I said, I can do this. And she said, you will, and you will. And I said, okay, yes, ma'am. So now the 5th book has come out. My Grandma Loves Me. I am her little girl. So all the grandmas who have girls out there will be able to share the book with them.
And there'll be one for the boys, too.
Yes, it's a beautiful, never-ending story.
Well, that kind of love, it's it's good that you could write it down because it's hard to encompass it.
It is.
Well, you've been featured on many national radio and television programs, so where's a really random place that a fan has reached out to you from?
Oh man, I don't know if it's random, but I think it's my best story that I say that I can die now, and it's crazy. But I had a friend of mine who called me and said, "I've got a mother who's having problems with her son, and I want you to send a book today." And of course, she was a mom too, so it was hard to do. She knew what she was asking me was substantial to send the book out quickly. And I said, no problem, and I sent out the book. 6 months passed by, no big deal. I was in South Padre Island, and a woman walks in with this newborn son and says to me, "You don't know me, but you saved my son's life." And I looked at her and I said, I'm sorry, can you explain this? And she said, that friend, Kelly, you sent the book that day. I received the book, realized the illness that my son had was severe reflux.
Oh.
Took him to the hospital. They had put him on IV immediately, said that if I would have waited 5 more days, he wouldn't be with us today.
Wow.
That, even though it's not an unusual location, to me, that's the best story I can tell.
Well, that is something you'll always remember then.
Always.
I can understand why you shared that one. That's a special one.
Yes.
And you were also recognized by the President of Ireland. And with your family's background, that had to be awesome. Was that a surreal experience?
I think my father cried. I haven't seen my Irish father cried too many times, but that was one of them. But yes, of course I had to pay homage for the Irish side. They gave me all these, this great world in my head that I put it in the book. And we sent a book over, and he came back and he said that Ireland wanted to recognize me. Of course, I had to put my maiden name in there, McAuliffe. That's important.
All right.
There you go, Dad. I said it. And yes, so.
All right. Well, you've appeared on the Home Shopping Network. How was it being in front of that massive audience?
That's fun. Shop LC has people there that are a lot of fun. The hosts are fun. It was fun to kind of get in front of the camera. Somebody always falls. Somebody always, messes up in what they're saying. And having a good group like that, it was great. It was great to do that.
Now, were you on as a guest, or were you actually there to just be a salesperson for your books?
Model.
All right, then. Okay. You go, girl.
Right.
Well, let's move on to the fashion. I called you a fashionista. I like that term. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of style. So how did the fashion model side of your career get unleashed?
So I have to give kudos to my mother. My father always says, I had to make sure you were beautiful too. So I married your beautiful mother. So you got to love a guy like that. And her whole family, just a string of beautiful women. My French grandmother was engaged to 3 men at the same time, and she had to decide on one. So, model after model, you've got to see my nieces. They're just stunning, and it's just great to see, the outside is fun, but that's not the most important thing. And we teach all the women in our family, you've got to be beautiful inside or out, and out. Don't pick one.
Found this impressive. You were featured in Women's Magazine. So talk about that honor, and how did that bring new fans to your book work?
So they asked me to go up to, this is funny, we went up to New York City, and I love, my father's from New York, and love the food up there, and here they wanted me to model what they call like mom jeans, like don't look like a mom in your jeans, right? So I get there, and I'm thinking of lox and bagel, I'm thinking of black and whites, I'm thinking of the pizza, and I realize I'm being filmed in 3 days. So that was not something I did not eat until after the photo shoot, and I ran out, and I don't know how I did it, but I got it all in the last 24 hours, and it was great. Motivation. But yes, it was, they paid, they stated I was an author and a mom, and I think that was part of it. It kind of went with the mom jeans, and I had a great time.
Well, you're certainly a big believer and promoter of having body confidence. So speak to the ladies who are listening right now about fashion and what the message is you want to put out there.
I love that. I think, being a kid of the 80s, everybody was trying to get to, what was it, 87 pounds. And I think we all knew that wasn't healthy at the time. Mm-hmm. And, the good and the bad news of my family is we were very curvaceous. We could never be 82 pounds, no matter how hard we tried. And, my mother always said to me, she said, first off, you're going to thank me because you're going to learn how to eat while young. And that's important.
It is.
And we need to get back to that. We need to get back to, everybody's beautiful. It's how you wear it. And from there, I learned very quickly that these items look good on me. These items did not. And I think that's important. I think so many women think, well, I just need to lose the weight. I'm going to look good. And that's not true. That is not true. It is you pick the outfits that look good on you and learn what does and what makes you feel good. That's the end of the story.
That's the most important part.
Yeah. Doesn't need to be complex.
If you feel beautiful in something, you're going to be beautiful in it.
Absolutely.
Now, I noticed looking through, I'm not a style guru, but I'll say your fashion sense is always very sharp, but you don't look out of place anywhere you go. You make a look for the everyday woman. Just go out and find stuff that works for you, like you said, and you can go to a meeting, you can go kind of anywhere. Your style seems to be interchangeable with any situation.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I think very early, you see a woman and she looks nice, and my thought is, wow, that looks great on her. And I think as women, sometimes we make the mistake of, that's going to look good on me. And I try to keep the mindset of, what do I look good in? What do I feel good in? And that fashion sense. And again, I think people confuse fashion sense with the jacket or fashion sense with the shoes. And fashion sense is what you feel comfortable in and what you look good in. Period.
I like that. Well, I've got a couple more questions, but is there anything you want to touch on I might have missed along the way that you want to make sure and get out there?
I think I really appreciate this. And the books are the reason why the books are so close to my heart, and I'm not trying to plug them, but, an interesting story. I sang to my son, and I said, about 3 weeks ago, I said, I love you. You know that. And he's almost 13, right? And he, of course, the eye roll. Eye roll. And I said, How? How do you know that? And he actually stopped and he said, you cook for me and then you make sure I have my uniforms ready. And he goes down the list of about 13 things. And in the end, he says, and you're just crazy at my baseball games. It's actually embarrassing, but I know that's why, that's how you show your love. And from that point forward, I realized that the song teaches kids every day our actions are how they're loved. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important. I think we have to kind of get beyond the words and teach them at a very young age what those actions look like so they can carry them on in life and know that because everything we do is just complete love for them. The exhaustion, the dishes, the laundry,
pulling the hair out,
the communication, the small talks, the big talks, the yelling, the swear words. I mean, it's all love, right? It's all love. And I think, why I feel so strongly about this series is it teaches them very young that what we do is to show them love, period.
That's awesome. I like that. Now, what's the next big project or venture for Shanalee?
Wow, there's quite a bit. We have to finish the book series. There is some discussions that I can't make mention. I am so sorry. I was instructed not to.
NDA.
Yes, NDA. But what I do want to do is when that gets going, would you have me back so I can announce it?
You have an open door policy because we're now buddies.
That's awesome.
You have an open door policy here.
Thank you. And it is happening in Grimes County, so that's why I really want to come back here.
Love that. And tell folks how to keep up with you and your varied career.
Thank you. The the Instagram is our thing. Also, the website is either Shanalee Sharbaneau, which is hard to spell. You can do theshanalee.com, and those are the two platforms we're focused on at this point.
All right. We're going to get to know you a little bit behind the scenes, okay?
Oh, Lord.
Got some fun questions. These are just rapid fire for you. All right. This is kind of a 50-50 in my experience with people I've asked, and there have been a lot of them. Do you dry off and then get out of the shower or get out of the shower and then dry off?
I hate getting out of the shower. I don't even want to get out of the hot water, but I do get out and dry off. And my husband will tell you, I'm pretty grumpy when that happens.
Gotcha. Do you have a favorite burner on your stove?
You know what? I learned how to be a one-pan cook.
Nice.
Front left. And
Same.
Right?
I'm a lefty, so front left made sense.
All right. And there's no need to dirty all those dishes because you just keep going in one pan.
Here, here. Do you keep ketchup in the refrigerator or the cabinet?
Oh, refrigerator.
Refrigerator?
Yeah, sorry.
When have you been to a restaurant and had cold ketchup?
So that is my father's New York side and my mother's Wisconsin side coming out. Right there.
Okay, well, if it's in the genetics, I'll take that.
Right.
Toilet paper over or under? Is it beard or mullet?
Oh, it's over. Over.
Thank you.
Over.
Right. Orange juice, pulp or no pulp?
No pulp. I found out what pulp could be. They said it was like wood shavings or something. Psh, that was the last day I had pulp.
All right. Are you a person that sets one alarm or do you set several alarms?
Several.
You don't like mornings.
No.
All right. Hot wings, drumsticks, or flats?
The hotter the better.
The drumsticks or the flats?
Ooh, drumsticks.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Ketchup on your French fries or ketchup on the side?
All over them.
Okay.
Fries on the side. No, I'm kidding.
Peanut butter, creamy or crunchy?
Creamy.
All right. In your cabinets, clean glasses, face up or face down?
Face down. I didn't think anybody put them face up.
Yes. You'd be surprised.
Interesting.
Spaghetti and meat sauce in separate pans or mixed together?
Mixed. One pan, baby.
All right. Were Ross and Rachel on a break?
God, don't kill me. I didn't watch that show.
You didn't watch Friends?
I didn't watch Friends.
Oh, I'm sorry everybody's going to hear that.
They
might judge.
I know, but I'm a Trekkie.
Oh, I am too. All
right.
Live long and prosper.
There you go.
All right. Let's try another one. I know you saw the movie Urban Cowboy.
Yes, I do.
All right. Pam or Sissy, which one should Bud have wound up with?
Sissy.
Sissy. All women say Sissy. All men say Pam.
That's interesting.
It is. What's your go-to karaoke song, singing mom?
Oh. Right now it's 5'9".
Okay.
Yeah.
5 foot. I don't know that song.
5'9". It's a country song. It's by
if it's out of Nashville, it's not necessarily country.
Right.
I'll throw that out there.
There
if it's
you
in the
go.
last 15 years out of Nashville.
Right.
But I'll take your word for it. Okay, you've got a good one. Okay, do you do any good impressions?
I do not. Oh, I do one. Okay, so we started this just recently. We got so sick of the spam calls that I had seen a video where somebody acted a weird character to get the spam calls to stop.
Okay.
And I actually did do this, and the spam calls slowed down almost completely. And it's a crazy Mexican woman. And I say, I pick up the phone, I go, hello, bueno, ¿quién habla, mi hija? ¿Dónde vas? Where are you, my daughter? Where are you? Where'd you go?
Gotcha.
And I keep saying that like I'm nuts. And they hang up every time and they don't call back.
Well, if you have a problem with spam callers, she'll do that for a fee for you.
Right.
How about that? What's your go-to comfort food?
Oh, Mexican.
Oh, yeah. Now, we're in Texas. That's a food group.
Margarita and Mexican, and I'm good.
All right. Favorite candle scent?
There's so many friends of mine that can do candle scents that are like food, and I just can't do food. So it's anything that's like earthy,
Sandalwood for me.
Perfect.
For some reason, I don't even know why, but I just love that scent.
Perfect.
Favorite soft drink?
Topo Chico has been a really bad addiction lately.
All right.
And it's really not a soft drink, but we really don't drink,
It's carbonated water.
It's carbonated water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Least favorite household chore?
Oh, any of them? No, I'm kidding. No, I don't like cleaning the house. My mother was an immaculate house cleaner, and I think I just didn't have to deal. And even a week ago, I told my husband, you didn't marry me for my ability to keep a house, so we got to get the maid back in here.
Gotcha. All right. When you're reading, do you use a bookmark or fold down a corner of the page?
I don't like destroying the page.
I got you. I've heard that from many people, but some people do it.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, you would think no big deal.
All right. Now, you're a Gen X. I'm proud to say I am too. So I'm going to assume this. Can you drive a stick shift?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Atta girl.
My father, he taught me on a Triumph Spitfire purposely. So every time I went to Mexico, I was the one who drove.
Oh, and they just honk and go. There's no real stopping there.
No.
That's dangerous. Okay, let's try. Did you have anything you drove on the column rather than the floor?
No. It was the floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All-time favorite athlete, any sport?
Oh, jeez. I gotta admit that, I was never an athlete. My son came out to be an athlete, and we are just now learning the names of these guys. So I gotta say I don't have one. My son's gonna just kill me after this interview, though. I'm gonna tell you that point blank. He's gonna be, Mom, I'm just disappointed in you.
He'll
seriously.
rattle off about a dozen that you should have said.
Right, and I just shake my head. Mom, you know this guy. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, all-time favorite sitcom?
Wow, you're really hitting them, aren't you?
I try. That's what we do here at Willie 98.7.
Right. I think we watched Three Men and a Baby?
That was a movie.
No. What's the one with Charlie Sheen and
2.5 Men.
2.5 Men.
When Charlie was on there, it was funny.
When Charlie was on there, it was great, and it was nice. It was a nice show, and then went nuts.
Charlie left, and it kind of just fell apart. My top two, just because you'll remember these. Number 2 is Three's Company.
That was great.
Number 1, Happy Days.
Oh, man. See,
love those.
You got better answers.
Final question. What's an old-fashioned trend from back in the day that you wish would make a comeback?
Wow. You know what I miss? I miss people dressing up.
People dressing up for going anywhere out with their families.
Yeah. I think, it was fun for a while to just, and I'm guilty of this too, to run to the grocery store and, hair up in the bun and what have you. And I just, you look back in the 50s and 60s and 70s and even the 80s and, to enjoy that moment. And I think we should get back to that.
I like that. I'll say Rocky Mountain jeans.
Yeah.
I was DJing at the dance halls. Every woman had Rocky Mountains, and I thought it was a great look. So maybe we'll see. They're high-waisted, but maybe they'll make a comeback. Keeping my fingers crossed.
Let's hope.
Thank you for coming in. And like I said, you have an open-door policy, ma'am. I really enjoyed the chat. You're a very interesting lady.
Thank you, Kenny.
You
really
bet.
Appreciate it.
And for the awesome, and find her on all her social media, especially on Instagram, the Shanalee.
Shanalee.
Thank you for coming in. For the awesome Shanalee Sharbaneau. How's that?
That's
I'm
perfect.
Kenny Graves on Willie 1550 and 98.7.